Hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. Today, our guest is Kelvin Green. He is a cybersecurity expert, mental health advocate, and as he says, he is a random guy. But of course, today Kelvin is not a random guy because Kelvin, you are guest on the Mindset to Results podcast, and we really very welcome you to this show. And we today speak about a good topic, an important topic: how to build success with your own perspective. Yes, with your own identity and knowing exactly what you want, what you do, and of course, how to secure your mental health. Yes, so it will be very good to hear from you as a cybersecurity guide about this topic.
Absolutely. So thank you for having me, Elena. And you know, you seem to have an issue with the random guy thing, and a lot of people do. But I say, that's a part of how the world is structured. I am a random guy to most people. Meaning, if I walk throughout the world and you see me, even if you believe you know me, you don't know me because you were not there to experience my life. So no matter how weird it sounds, we are mostly a random person to most people. So
Yeah, thank you for being so, how I would say, down to earth person. Yes, and I also random girl. Then let's say
yes,
yes.
yes. I
So
mean,
of course we're not better than anybody else, and we are not different. Yes, we are unique, but of course everyone can be everyone who he wants to be, and this is why we do this episode so people can relate, can connect, and they can see that if someone else does something, they also can, and they also will. And this is why we invite other entrepreneurs to share their success stories, their experience, their challenges, their attitude. So people who start in their new path in business or also in life, they can learn so much from random guys like you and me.
yes, yes. Well, I'm definitely grateful to take part in that, and I do see the huge value in that because sometimes when you're starting out, you feel alone, and you're like, I'm the only person going through these struggles, but we all are. So yeah.
Yes, of course. I really like your attitude and perspective because it really closes that gap, between people who listening and people who are speaking, because some people, especially young entrepreneurs, they watch social media and everybody just position themselves as they're successful, so easy to build success, just like do this, and like in 1 week, in 2 weeks you will be a millionaire, and it looks all good, but it is so far from the truth. And that is why I really appreciate our guests who come here and share honestly that journey. Yeah, because the success is not built within a night. Yes, it is not like any quick scam. You have to build yourself brick to brick, starting from foundation, then bring put in those walls, that roof. Yes, so you are not shaking from every wind, and then you start building your success, and everything starts from within. So let us know a little bit about yourself. How did you found yourself? What is important for you in your life? What are your big goals? How you started being expert in cybersecurity, and then how it also relates to you being advocate for mental health. And we know that it is so important for everyone today because we live in such a world changing every day, every second. We don't know what we can expect. Yes, and that is why mental health is so important for everyone, and especially for entrepreneurs who step out, yes, and want to create something new, something big. And we notice a lot of responsibilities, a lot of challenges, and we share and help them to pick up something important, something valuable, and be successful.
Absolutely. So I will say, to first, I'll start with growing up. I always thought there was something better, meaning this can't be it. So it's like, no matter how bad things are, it's something could be better. And my perspective on life at that point, so using the word perspective, is things were bad. The deck was stacked against me. And I guess a good way to explain it that I, didn't realize till I got older. Think of life as being you're playing a game of cards. You're at the casino playing some games. How much money you start with, you don't pick it. What you learn to play the game, you don't pick it. Who you are, you don't pick it. What table you start at, you don't pick it. You just there, meaning your parents put you there and they gave you the genetics and they started you all with how to play the game. You could be crappy at the game and have a little bit of money, but it don't matter. You're going to play. And so I was playing the game with the cards that they gave me. And crap. In my mind, I started off with crappy cards because everything, when you look at the TV and you see the kid with his dad throwing a Nerf ball, you like, me and my dad, and I was lucky to have a dad there with me, but we weren't throwing that Nerf ball. I mean, you go outside, you can have a Nerf ball, but you might not keep your Nerf ball because somebody else might take it. Why? Because the neighbor I grew up in was bad. So it wasn't all bad, but it was a lot of people who were living in situations where first in, first out, they needed money, they felt slighted, life was hard, and we were all packed and piled together. And that created me. And I left that and I grew up and I said, always do better. And I kept doing better. My perspective kept changing, meaning I could look at the same neighborhood and say, man, don't walk over there to, man, they're really hurt. I get it. They're just people. They're just in pain, but they're people. And as I kept encountering different things in life, like I lived in Hawaii, I lived in Las Vegas. Um, I went to jail in Las Vegas. That's a horrible place to go to jail at because it's not the nicest people in the world everywhere always, and jail is probably not the nicest. And Las Vegas ain't the always best group of people. Like they're really drunk. Like when you first go in the holding cell, let me tell you, nobody in there is having a good time. Like they're not having a good time. But you learn something. And from all this, it shaped me. It made me go, man, there's much more. It's all in my head. I can change all this. And I use all that to change. That's how I got into mental health, cybersecurity. I was an engineer tinkering with everything. Always trying to fix stuff. Look at what I did. And I started to combine the two when I saw how security was important. Meaning, at the end of the day, what you value in data is your connection to it, because what matters about life is your connection to others. And that data you share, when you sharing that private IM, that email, you're like, hey, you want to send your special someone a message of love or maybe something else. I ain't judging, and but you want to keep it private. You want to say because we're in a really disconnected world that people want to be connected. So I'm looking at all these things, and I should mention that I'm married and my wife, I met her when I was 18 years old online. And so this is before the pictures, you type in text and things and you know, I can see how like the it the technology, the internet's a part of our lives, security is part of our lives. I just started bringing it all together and saying, hey, here's how I can use my talents to help people, like how I get to be the superhero, how I get to help. And I guess hopefully that explains my perspective.
Yeah, so how was that you decided to start focusing on being value and provide value? What happened that you understood that this life is for you to become a valuable person, respect yourself, respect others, and provide the value to the world?
So I would say for me on that one, it's a constant life change, but I would say the biggest point is being sick. I got really sick. I have MS, and other things, and I got really sick. And then you like, man, I did so much. I worked so hard. I made money. I got this. I got that. And I didn't really care. Like I never really cared about stuff. Like what it sounds weird to say that, but like if you told me you were going to give me a luxury car for that was worth $100,000, and you told me that I could have a $20,000 car and feed 80,000 children for a day, I would feed 80,000 children for a day and have a $20,000 car because I don't care about the car. It's not that I ain't saying it ain't nice, but I don't really care. So I don't care. So to buy it, you really know I don't care, right? And so it's like I purpose in life, my purpose in life, I didn't have one. Like I was married, I was a dad, and my purpose was taking care of my family, but I wasn't I didn't feel successful at it because I wasn't like proud of myself. So I had to go and like do, I guess, soul searching to say, you know, what is your value to the world? Why are you here? Why am I walking this earth? And I would say that was like a really big defining moment for me. And I just, went with that.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yes. So, what do you think was the most important criteria of your success? And what is success for you? What it means?
Pain. Um, one word, pain. Um, Change happens in pain. If you're not experiencing pain, you're comfortable. And if you're comfortable, you're just gonna stay comfortable. So I live in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so you don't know the good without the bad, and so I I face challenges as they come every day, and to say when I accomplish it, I survived the next day. You made it. Keep going, do better, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you said it so right. It is being uncomfortable should become comfortable when you want to grow, because every growth um, just happens with the change, and every change is painful. It may be not painful physically or mentally, but it is uncomfortable. Yes, and so in people who can see that uncomfortable situation and still be committed to go through it and experience all that and comfort, then they find themselves on the other side. And when they look back, they say that so good I did that, and it doesn't look uncomfortable anymore. Yes, so it is like
Yeah.
you always extend your that limits of being uncomfortable. So initially it is like this, then you go more, and then you see, oh, I'm not uncomfortable anymore in this, like in
Yeah.
this clothes, yes, and it is like constant process. And I'm totally agree with you. What else? What
So
else?
sorry. I would say that is like the major thing, and then after that is just like as you experience stuff in life, right? Like as you see the outcomes of it, you gotta adapt. Like I say the perfect world theory. Here's a good one. If you were to close your eyes right now and picture a perfect world, with everything go your way, with people be bringing you food, you be at the resort, it's warm weather, the wind blowing, so nice, right? And I say, if I take a room full of people, 20 people, and I say, everybody do that, everybody gonna close their eyes, think like, oh, it's gonna be so wonderful. And I'm like, all right, open your eyes. Now tell me, who here said they're gonna serve everybody else? Who here is going to be the person to bring the drink? Who's going to bring the food? And everybody's like, I'm not. And I'm like, right. So what that tells you is that's not possible. What you got to do is be grateful where you are. Meaning, if your role is to go bring that food, there's a reason why. Because the amount of work you put in is the work of somebody who went to bring that food. I will bring you that food if that's my job. I worked at CompUSA when I got started. I was gonna sell you that computer, that mouse, that copy of Windows or Microsoft Office, whatever you needed, like my life depended on it, and I was gonna help you because why my life did depend on it. I had to get that paycheck. And I knew that I needed you to buy stuff in order for that store to still open. So it's like you get out like what you put in, which I guess goes into the narrative of like how you build a mindset to succeed. So how you use your mindset to succeed. Best
Yes,
I can.
yes. And on the other side, if everything would be just perfect, would you be that person who you are today?
you know, you don't know how you're going to react when you get punched in the face until you get punched in the face. So Mike Tyson, I think, what said that you don't know. You can just say anything, and so yeah.
Yes, all what we went through made us people who we are today. It made us to be that person. And I spoke with many people, and all of them say that they don't want to change anything because those situations which seem to be the worst made them to become the best version of themselves who they are today. And if not those situations, they would never be there. And this is what they're grateful for. And every negative situation has exact equivalent of positive. It is in time when we look back and we can see that. And of course, it is good to develop that mindset to see that positive when you think everything is just negative. But there is still positive, the same equivalent. It is just how where we focus and where we shift our energy.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, yeah. I, I carry that same sentiment. I don't regret anything from my past. I used to like when you're in it, like when you. So I go with this one. I had enough guns put to my head before I was 16 years old to need two hands. When they happen, from the first to the last, oh, whew, you don't like that. However, when you know that you can survive through it, believe you me, when I got to number five, I was talking. I was like, hey, you don't want to shoot me what you really want. You don't want this ID, this. Why? Because, man, I done been it. However, when he pointed that gun at our heads and said, okay, get out my face, we ran. Now, that day, oh, horrible, terrible. Now, laughable. You know, you can learn to jump over roofs when you got to run. But afterwards, you're like, well, I live. So I know, sounds crazy, but in reality, you live. And if you don't live for a purpose, why are you? Opinion, perspective. Life is terrible. Just to be alive, you're going to suffer. You're going to get sick. You're going to feel pain. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible experience. However, it's only because it's terrible that you can get those times like when you at that resort and it's so nice. I went to the Four Seasons. I got an award, and I went to the Four Seasons. Oh, it was so nice. It was so nice. You're like, oh, it's just a step away from the drudgery of like your regular life. You're like, hey, I get to get it, and it is in that you find the joy that makes you go, man, if I keep working hard and improving myself, I get to experience things like that more. And so I work towards that goal. I don't want it all the time. I just want a person who I become along the journey, not the finish line.
Yes, exactly, exactly. This is not just the goal. All goals are given to us to grow. Yes, so it is not about having something. It is about becoming who you will become and are becoming in the process to achieve that goal.
Bingo. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So me and you agree a lot. Okay, what's the catch? So is it what I gotta ask you a question now? You the host, I'm like you a question. So what set your mindset that way? Like how did you get that way? Why do you think that?
Yes, is it your question or my question?
It's my question for you. I need to know how because you look, I'm turning into the host right now for just 1 minute. You tell me how you got that way.
Okay, you
I'm,
want to switch the switch
yes,
the
I'm
role.
I'm I'm
Okay.
the host for you.
I don't mind. It doesn't happen often on my podcast switching. But yes, for me, it was very challenging situation. I was born in former Soviet Union in Ukraine, and a lot of was happening. In 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. All money which my family had in banks, it just disappeared because there was no Soviet Union. So we were given literally papers and these coupons which we could go to the market and exchange for food. There was no money. And later only money started printed, but there was nothing from savings. So people lost everything what they had in savings in that all life. And then also my father was a scientist, and when Soviet Union collapsed, there was no budget for science, so scientists went like nowhere. Like he was going to job and he was not getting salary. I remember like my mother was working and she was giving him money every time for transport, go there and back. And he was going like 1 year encouraging other people, encouraging scientists and looking for investors. But that time in 1991, I was small, and there was nothing like now when we have internet, when everyone can promote themselves. And they had amazing inventions. He was in the Academy of Science, and under him were thousands of scientists, academics, different inventors, and they had so many inventions, which would could be each of invention could be so big money for them. And because they didn't have nobody to promote them, no one knew them, they unfortunately were old guys already. And unfortunately he was just going there encouraging them, trying to somehow find these opportunities. And this is, I was growing and I was saw that all. And that also I had my challenges when I went to Iran, because I didn't want to stay in that closed environment. And I was in a university, and I was offered to get a master degree and PhD in Iran. So I went there, I was doing business, then I came back, then I went to teach in university, and I had also so small salary that it was just like for sweets for me. So I opened my business. Then I started doing network marketing, and I made very big money, but people, I didn't have goal, I didn't have right mindset, I didn't have guidance, because I came from very different environment. And when big money started to come to me, I didn't know what to do with them. So I was investing and thinking that money have to work, but because I didn't know much about investment and what is the right investment, I didn't have mentor for investment, so most of my money was lost. And the last thing that people who I was attracting in my life were also very false friends, because they were coming just because I had big money. I was taking them to restaurants, to parties, to traveling, or I could borrow $50,000 to somebody who I don't even know. So I had very different mindset. And then when these friends stolen my 3 apartments, car, everything I had, that was a very big shock for me, of course. And it was the call to action, like wake up, like wake up, like what is going on? And this is how I started. I started looking for a solution to pull myself out from that hole where I fell, because like I lost everything I had. These friends who were called my friends, they just used my trust. I lost everything. And this is how I started going to understanding that I want to become value. And what I want to do, I want to teach people. I love people. I want to give something good. And this is how I found personal development, and I found Bob Proctor. Then I started working with him. I became Proctor Gallagher Gainswood consultant, started working with Bob. And this is how my mindset became right mindset. Like I understood what goal setting is, what purpose is, what mission is. I found myself. And this is how everything changed. So for me, it became such a big, tremendous change that this is how I understand I want to help people with that. I want to help people to find themselves, to understand how they can build success. It doesn't matter what you had before, your background, money you have or not have, nothing matters. What matters is your within. When you start doing right things, when you get your mind right, when you have right attitude, create your self-image from future, not from past, and then you don't let it anymore, your past image, which created by other people, control your life. So when you do this inner work, this is when real changes start to happen. And this is my journey.
I, I will say you amazing. Um, you are proof that going through hard times can make or break you, and if you choose to let it make you, that you will come out a far more resilient, far stronger person. Yeah, I yes, I it's appreciated. Yeah, so uh, I will say, like I catch that and I feel the sentiment because it's like, hey, you like I went through hard times, and when you feel like things are hard, the only way, or you're hit by bottom, the only way to go is up. Like you go up, and you took that, and you said you kept going up. Like you like no matter how many times, because like people like it got to be perfect. Like you got to go straight up. And in reality, life is not no anything, and you just kept pulling yourself up. I I I don't want to cause no controversy, but I will say this: growing up in my more liberal mindset, it was, oh, help help us, give. But in reality, if they give you, it's like the old adage: if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he'll be able to feed himself for a lifetime. Well, I grew up with a keep giving me fish mindset as being the prevailing, mindset. And I see like yourself through pain. It was things go wrong. Look, nobody's going to feed me. I got to feed myself. And so I take it that way. But yeah.
Yes, yes, it is really a big shift happens when you stop thinking that you are a victim of circumstances and you get your control back. Because for me, it was long time when I just thought that I'm a victim of circumstances because I was thinking I'm in the wrong country, like wrong time when all this collapsing, like parents lost all their savings, no money. We even were hungry. I know what it means to be hungry and not having food. And when your parents are going for work every day, just come and don't get paid, right? So it is a lot. And I was also having my brother. He was also had health issue when he was in the army, and he became disabled because of that situation. So was another like very big change in our family, having a brother who has some mental problems because of his bad army experience. And so many things that I was thinking like I need somebody to help me. I was just feeling that I cannot do myself. I'm just a little girl. And I very early understood that I have to take responsibility not only for myself, for my brother, and for my parents. And like, and sometimes it was just too much for me because we also didn't have any relatives. Like my parents' relatives died in the Second World War with this Hitler. Uh, and like my father, when he was 3 months, his father was doctor and he died. Yes, so because of the bomb explosion. And also my mother was 2 years old when her father was killed again in the same war. And then her mother died very also went to the market and didn't come back when she was just 2 years old. And she has siblings, 5 years old brother and 13 years old sister. So, and like so many things, and I was just thinking like why me so much, how I can sometimes I thought I cannot bear, I cannot do this myself. I was thinking that there is something should come and help me like help me. But I was every time, because there was nobody to help me, and I knew that it is only me who have to learn how to help myself and my family. And every time I didn't know what to do. Like when I was in university, only one way was to go and learn something. I didn't know even what I have to learn. But I was going to university, I was reading books, I was studying English. Because I didn't have much to do, and I didn't have mentor or coach who would tell me, Lena, this is your strong qualities, and this is your path, this is your mission. Let's go there. I was totally like, and also Soviet Union, it was so different mentality. It is not like in West. It is just like 100 years gap. So I came from that mentality, and I had to build myself step by step, step by step. Then I founded business. I became very successful. I was making big money every week. And this is how I started attracting people who were coming just to use. I was so naive, but I was so loving everybody, helping everybody with my money. So, and it was really like when I look back, I don't recognize myself. But shortly, just to tell shortly that, and now I understand that we get those challenges because we have capacity. Yeah, so if we want to become somebody, and I knew from my childhood, I didn't know what exactly, but in my childhood, I was feeling I am different. Like I always was different from others, and other people also were noticing that and I was feeling that I have some big mission. I have to do something big. I didn't know what. But what I understand now from my life experience, that when we know that we are here for something big and we are not ready for that, it will come, those challenges will come to build you. And till you don't quit, till you don't just collapse, you have to go on, and even if you collapse, you again have to wake up and continue, because you just don't have any other way. I had responsibilities. I have brother, my parents, and nobody to take care of them. So this feeling of responsibilities, it never let me to give up, even if it was too hard, too like impossible. It was looking impossible, but I was making those bold decisions. I didn't know how it works. Later I understood how to make bold decisions from the future, having that future image and picture, like, and this is, you live from future. But that time it was totally at some level of I think intuition, something intuition, and just understanding that you have no other choice. You just have to break through. You just have to go bold and believe that all will be fine.
I will take that and say two things. One, I'll tell you why you think what you think. You said your dad was a scientist, his dad was a scientist. So you were born with a scientific mind. It's genetics. So 7 years, 7 generations of the trauma that your ancestors had and the knowledge, they passed it down to you. That's what made you. Remember, I said you sat at that table to play cards. Well, they gave you a scientific brain to play cards with. They just gave it to you. And two, when you say that, your purpose, I say human beings, we are the weirdest thing on the planet. We like to say that we're better than everything else on this planet. I'm like, we're the ones that keep messing things up and don't know what we're doing because, you know, a bee is a bee, right? Like when I said bee, you just like, I know what a bee gonna do. If I said a squirrel to you, you just like a squirrel's gonna go get nuts and go put the mist out to you. You just know what it's gonna do, right? You like it's born and you like that's what it's gonna do. Chicken, rooster, whatever, cow. You just like it's cow go a cow gonna move. Like you like what that cow gonna do? He waiting for the right moment to move. He like move. Oh, that's it, right? So he knows what he's gonna do, and you know. But as a human being, you're like, what do I do? And I say the reason why is because we're cave people that we evolved in our heads. We tell ourselves that we made things better, and as I made things better, we made it more complex. We made more things to do because in reality, all we got to do is get up and eat food. Like what I really got to do today is survive. If I eat food and if I make sure my family eats food and they stay alive to tomorrow, I have done my job. They survive. Everything else is a luxury. So whether or not I sleep on a bed, if the room is temperature controlled, or if my internet's working, is all a luxury. I do not need it to survive. It's an option. And as human beings, we've gotten to the point that we started feeling like 100 years ago, they didn't have hot water in their homes.
Mm.
People nowadays are like, oh my goodness, I gotta have my Apple iPhone, and they take. You don't need it. I'm not saying you shouldn't want it. I'm not saying that, but you don't need it. So, we become so entitled to stuff that we think that things that are so great are owed to us, and we got this high standard of living that we deserve more and more and more. And I've seen that in the people who are successful, they don't believe they deserve anything. They're like, I'm going to work for it because nobody's coming to save me. The people who are not successful, they feel like somebody's coming to save them, and they
Mm.
never going to show up.
Yes. Yes, real change starts from that when you understand that there is nobody to saving you. You are not victim, you are the author of your life. You decide what you want to be and become that person, do what it needs. And this is how you take your control in your hand. You become that producer and director and that star of your own movie, which is your life.
I, that's a great one. I can't remember who said it, but looking at life as a biopic, um, you are not just the star of your movie, you're the director. Meaning, you said that voice, your gut feeling, that's your director. You don't tell it, hey, let's go this route when it feel good, you're not gonna get there. If something tells you, gives you senses to say this ain't right, you better back away because you are the only person, nobody else will direct your biopic to make you the star because they're directing their biopics to make them the star. So nobody cares if I have $100 million. They care if my $100 million helps them. Meaning, if I give them $1 million, and they're like, yeah, and you think they would be happy forever? No, you said you help people with money. If you give them $100,000, they're gonna want 200. You give them 200, they're gonna want 400. No matter how much you give them, it will never end because there's no cap on taking. But they're not willing to earn it, and they're never going to value it unless they earn it. People don't know that a lot of times because society, like you said, they tell you that they show the what my wife calls the peak, where like you look at the Instagram, it's like, did you get one? Let's take a picture, and this is one picture I wish I could show you. It's the rapper Drake. He's standing outside it's early in the morning, like it's like 4 a.m. in the morning, and he's standing outside with these big dogs in front of this really big house with all these lights on. And so I asked some people, I said, is his life good? Is he enjoying life? Yeah, yeah, that's how I want to be. Me. So you want to wake up at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, take a shower, get dressed, and walk outside with two dogs and stand there while somebody takes pictures of you and just pay for electricity and a whole bunch of rooms that you will never be in? I mean, hear me out. You got a whole bunch of rooms. You ever gonna walk into those rooms? No. Well, in reality, all that guy did was wake up in the morning by himself and get out there at 4 o'clock in the morning and stand there with some dogs. So I don't care what you think his life is. That's what reality is. That money don't change that. And I'm not saying that it don't help, but it don't change reality. And so, I tell people that, they look at TV and they look at the YouTubes and things and they get lost in it. Nah, it's not real, people. It's not. It's just, if they celebrating on it, just remember they were not having a party. They was taking pictures and making videos, pause and saying, "Hey, look at me," to you. That means they wanted to show you what they were doing. So they didn't really have a good time. They just wanted you to feel that they had a good time for whatever reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is very, life is interesting. Life is interesting, and more you understand, more you aware become. You can understand that there are no limits. All limits are is just in our mind. Yes, because our brain just looks at life from perspective of the past. Yes, it doesn't know what is in future. It just knows what was in the past or what is current, and the biggest shift happens when you stop be detached to current results and past results and allow yourself to see a totally different picture which you really want. Yes, because what we have now is the result of our previous thoughts and actions, and this is just results. Yes, like this is like we were cause with our mind, with our actions, assumptions, and our current situation is just the effect. And when we understand this, the cause and effect, then today we can become different persons, start thinking different, do different assumptions, expecting something different, and this is how we start changing our results.
Yeah, yes, yes. Yeah, well said. A good way to compliment that would say, if you eat with your right hand, eat with your left hand. If you change something, so you will get your left hand will become stronger. You'll get a different action. If you do the same thing, expect the same outcome. So that means, like, uh, what's a good way to explain that? Well, I would say a good way to explain it would be this. Um, if you go to the store and you buy milk and you get a gallon of milk, and every week you always run out of milk the day before you go back to get it again. If you don't either go a day earlier, buy extra quart of milk, or drink less milk, why would you assume that you're going to have milk on the seventh day? And most people go through life and they're like, I don't have enough money. And they do the exact same things every day and say it's going to be different because time elapsed. And I'm like, why would they think that? And I'll tell you the reason why is because that's what they think. And why they think it? Because that's what they taught. You said people look at the past. Well, we got it. That's the only thing we know. All you really know is what happened to you. You can't know what didn't happen. As a matter of fact, you can't even know what happened to me. No matter how much I tell you, you cannot experience it. You will never know. You will never feel the same way. You just gave me your story. I will never in my whole life feel the pain that you felt. Impossible. All I can do is understand it and accept it and see how it shaped your perspective and coexist in the world with you. And people, I mean, I guess in general, that's a part of mental health that we all need to do that. Well, we need to understand that everybody else is going through their own struggles. They got their own stories, they got their own stuff. Like I will tell you, me, I have MS. Sucks sometimes, right? What you mean? Oh man, your body aches. So you get up in the morning, like I got this morning, my body aches. I get up every morning with pain. And I'm like, oh, this sucks. But I'm like, you know what? If I take my medicine, it'll go down some. It's not gonna go away, but it's gonna feel better. Can you live? You lived yesterday. Yay. So then I get up and I'm like, yay. And I'm gonna do it with pain. I'm like, yay, right? Because I'm like, because I get the opportunity to go do something different. So I make an effort every day as the director of my biopic. I say, what am I going to do today to be the star? What am I going to do today to be the star of my movie? Because if I don't do it, it's not going to happen. And so then I go say, because if I die, yay, I won't know. But as long as I'm here, it's like, hey, cynical. But
Yes, yes. So this is so much about mindset. Yes, when mindset shifts, everything changes. Yeah, it is like living in the same world, but at different frequencies, at different channels. Like the world is the same, but everyone is at his own channel. Yes, and this is how we can experience the same situation but totally different because everyone looks at the situation from his perspective, from his experience, and give the different meaning. And based on the meaning which we give to situation, the situation changes.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. That's the funny one because I have a joke with my wife about how guys and girls see each other differently. I like a girl can see a guy, she's like, oh, this guy, I love him. I'm like, as a guy, I'm like, whatever you thinking, he ain't thinking that, and it's not bad, but he's just incapable of thinking that, and you need that to be in the world because it needs to be that way. But it's funny because it's like I say, you know, what makes us different? Like you earlier said about being unique and being different. I'm like, what makes us unique and what makes us different is what makes this world go around. Because if you and I were the same, I would not like you. Because boy, I don't want to hang out with me. I'm glad that you are you because it makes this a much more pleasurable conversation. Because Elena, if you were just like Kelvin, oh, 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 oh. So there you go. That's not speaking too highly of myself, but yeah. In hindsight, that didn't sound too good. But I mean, I like me. I'm just saying I like hanging with you better. But yeah,
Yeah.
talking to you better.
So we started from just being how you said that random guy, yeah. So how you name the ship the same way it will go. So how we start the episode the same way it goes. So
Well, well, see, well, okay, well, look, okay, well, I start off as a random guy, and we found connection points. We say, hey, connect, 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 connect. Okay, you go from a random guy to a person I got 5 connection points with. We don't know everything, and you never know everything. It takes forever. Look. I just took a trip across the U.S. with my son and my wife's son, and me and my son were talking, and he's like, oh, you know, this back in the day, this, you and mommy always be talking about this stuff. And I was like, oh, that wasn't with mommy. That was with my ex-wife. You were married before mommy? Me. You didn't know that? Like, yeah. And he genuinely did not know. And I'm like, how you ain't know that? You live with me. But why would he know that? Right? Like why he wasn't born, so he doesn't know. And it's like, it just I realized that there's a life to learning, so learning and connecting with people is a mission for me. So yeah, I mean, you said it earlier. You said, hey, you the people who you were around were not the best of people, and so you separated yourself. You changed because you separated yourself from the people you were around. If you stayed around those people, just like them, why would you not? Right? So it's the people you're around, you change. And yeah, I mean, I would say to people is a mindset, because all the things we're listening is just parts of our mindset. We're like parts of what make us us. Like the reason why I understand you, you understand me, is parts of our mindset. People who don't have our mindset will not understand us at all. They'll look at us like we're just weird, and we're like, no, we're regular people. But yeah.
yes, yes, it is true. It is true. Sometimes you look back in your life and then you just ask your question like, how could I even speak with those people? How I could even allow themselves in my world? Yeah, so because when you change and you start understanding the value, yes, you start understanding the boundaries, you start becoming value yourself, then you don't want to be around people who don't have the same values, yeah, the same principles in life, and yeah, the same attitude. So you become more choosy. Yes, you choose consciously surrounding, and also you become very aware of your time, and the time becomes more valuable. Yeah, more valuable you become, more your time becomes valuable. Yeah, so you don't just let your time be spent on something that doesn't have value, because you want to invest in yourself and become even more valuable, more valuable. And this is how you grow, and people surround you also might change if they don't grow with you.
I'm gonna hold you hostage with your audience. Here's what I'm gonna do. Uh, everyone, I think it would be a great idea for me to come back on here, and on this one though, we need to do it live so we can take questions and comments from the guests. And I'm gonna put Elena on the spot because she needs to make this happen. So you are on the spot because you need to have me on here, and we're gonna talk to the people. So everyone, message her, ping her, give her a hard time, tell her she gotta do this. So she gotta do it. So I'm telling you all, yes, I'm here. So it's on her. So she gonna make it so it happens. There you go.
Okay, deal. Let's do that. Let's do that. Yes, and it was so great to speak to you, Kelvin. Yes, we had amazing conversation, very unique, not like any other else. Yes, and yeah, it is good. Good. Thank you so much for being guest. And today, it looks like I was guest on my own show.
Well, you piqued my interest, and I'm like, I had to learn more. So sorry, people.
Okay, great. So let's meet again. Yes, let's meet again, and we will continue what we started. It will be fun.
Yes. And live because we need the people. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Kelvin. Have a great day, and see you soon.
Likewise, Elena. Thank you.